have heard my story before, and I'll go through just some points that I think are potentially pertinent to you guys in your build. So Lauren already shared that I put the products in my body, and even though I wasn't 100% compliant with them, I got a great result. And a lot of us are trying to build with people. We're trying to go after business builders that have never tried the products. And that can be challenging because the first thing you have to have in Isagenix to be successful is a love for the products. So I had a love and a passion, and I believe they work. And guys, guess what? I enrolled a lot of people with just that knowledge. So you've got a leader who's brilliant and educated and probably knows more about the products than almost anyone besides John Anderson. Like, she has such a solid understanding of nutrition, and you might not. And I knew nothing. But guess what I knew? What I knew was enough to enroll about 50 people in just over 2 months. And here's what I knew. I knew the products work. I feel amazing. I believe that you will feel amazing too. It's simple. I'm not hungry. And guess what? At the end of 30 days, you have 2 things that might happen. You are going to get your sexy back or your money back. Guys, is that not all what people want to know? Do your friends know about adaptogens? Do your friends know about the power of intermittent fasting, about the clinical studies? I bet they don't know, and I bet they don't care. But as soon as we get stuck trying to learn too much stuff, you scare me because you know so much. I better check with someone who knows as much as you. And now you've got people that are scared. But guess what? If I like and trust you and you told me it's great, I'm in. If you say it works, and what's my risk? I literally have the lowest risk proposition of any decision I've ever made in my whole life. I get my sexy back or my money back. And I tell people that. It's probably been my most successful soundbite ever. Because at the end of the day, how can you argue with that? What is your risk? Do you want, and here's another thing that I would say to people in the beginning. I would say, listen, Lauren, if I could guarantee, you told me all these things that you wanted to do. If I could guarantee that you do this program with a moderate level of compliance, and you will be on the way to accomplishing the goals that you discussed with me, would you be willing? Would you be able to find $600 to invest? Would you figure it out? Because I guaranteed it, right? I guaranteed it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You guarantee that I'll be on my way to losing the 30 pounds. You guarantee that I'm going to be on my way to springing out of bed. Who couldn't find the money if it's guaranteed? Okay. Well, guess what, Lauren? It's guaranteed. If it doesn't happen, get your money back. If you're not on the way to feeling those things, get your money back. You have no risk. So the first point that I'll make is, don't feel like you need to know. You have a leader who knows a lot, and that's great. Rely on her for your questions, but don't feel like you need to know everything. So I was just telling people based on pure passion, this stuff's great. And as Lauren said, the second point is Jannie Elo found us in blueprints. Check your blueprints. Check your Isopulse. Check your blueprints and your Isopulse, guys, because I don't know about you, but Isopulse misses people, right? Do you guys agree? Some people are like, Joey enrolled 50 people. I didn't even see Joey. For some reason, Isopulse isn't showing me Joey. I don't know why. But I check the blueprints too, because also sometimes I might miss it. Blueprints is hardcore, like that's it. That's the people. Okay, so check them. But she found us in her blueprints, and she was bold enough to make the phone call. I love that about her. She not only did she send me a message on Facebook, she tracked me down, because remember, she didn't know me. I was her 4 PET. So there's 4 people in between us, or 3 people in between us. I'm her 4th. She didn't know me, but she was bold enough. One of the many things that make her so fabulous is she is fearless. Is she really did she really feel any trepidation about reaching out to Lauren you guys know Lauren was in a serious, grave situation. Did she feel fear in that moment or trepidation? I don't know. But here's what I know. I know that she swallowed it and she did it. And that's what it takes. Just do it. It's not scary. Just do it. And so that's the first thing, is that she had whether she had the fear, but she had the boldness to reach out. And so when she did, Lauren's right. I was not an easy person to convince. But here's what she did as the third thing that you need to hear. She asked me a lot of questions about my life. And I thought what I thought would be a 5-minute conversation turned into an hour conversation. And she kept reeling me in. She kept leaving stuff there. And she knows how to say something and then be quiet. That's a skill. Please learn that skill. When you're having a conversation with someone, ask a question and be quiet. One question. Because we tend to get, oh my gosh, I got to think of my next question. I'm going to ask them 3 questions because that question didn't seem like it was really great. She asked a question. She asked it with confidence and boldness. And then she was quiet. She also said to me some things that I think really were powerful. She said, and it stayed with me because she had listened to other people. If there's one thing that she does at events, she listens and she writes things down. And whenever she goes to an event, she just sends me some genius that was straight out of Chris Harder's mouth or straight out of Hillary Courtney's mouth, straight out of Cindy Hedges' mouth. She just says something that's just awesome. So she's great at just learning from other people and building those sound bites so that they work for her, that they sound natural. And here's what she said to me that spoke to me, because she knew when she asked me questions, she knew that I was a person of deep faith. She knew that I was a mom, that I was exhausted. She knew I was on a hamster wheel. She could tell right away I'm in a corporate job. And I'm here to tell you, as someone who was a really highly paid corporate person, most of us with children are going to tell you how much we love our position. And that's true to some degree. I really loved what I did. I was completely fulfilled as a person, as a professional. But there will always be decision points that we're making. So if you're talking to someone who's a vice president, I was a vice president and managing director, I was making some hard decisions. And so where I'm sitting right now is an office that I worked in 1 or 2 days a week, which is my home office. But I was on a train or a plane a lot of other days. I told this story at ICU Newark, but I remember distinctly my oldest daughter, who's now 10, at the time, she was taking piano lessons. And it was the first time that she was going to have to perform in front of other people. And she came to me and she said, Mom, how could I I stink at piano. How could I possibly perform? They just told me the recital date. Mom, I don't know how I could do this. And I said, don't worry about it. I got you, Avery. You're good. Mom's going to be right there. We'll do it together. You're amazing. We'll practice and you'll be great. And the next day I get an email that our finalist presentation for the largest deal my team was working on was the exact same day as the recital. And I asked them, can you please change the date? And it was people converging onto Los Angeles for one meeting. And there was no changing it. And at that point, I knew that I was going to have to let her down for the first time. I watched that recital on FaceTime and my nanny was there to hug her. And that's the kind of decision points that anyone who tells you they love their job in corporate America, we're making decisions like that all the time. If you ask me the right question, you will peel that back. And I will meet a corporate person and their defense mechanism, because they don't have another choice. In order to pay our bills, we needed 2 incomes. And I didn't have another choice. So I fiercely defended it. When you're talking to people and you're asking the questions, know that you're going to get people that are fiercely defensive of their position. And that's fine. But you can ask the right questions so that you can gently, unobtrusively get to the point that's painful. So I'll give you some examples. So I talked to a woman the other day who has a very similar job to me that I had once upon a time. And we were just chatting and I just was relating to her. I said, oh my gosh, that's an awesome job. It's not the best job. How many days a week do you work from home? She's like, work from home, usually 1 or 2, but they're cutting it back right now. I said, oh my gosh, is that awesome? I said, what do you do? Do you have kids that'll leave you in the office and just let you do your meetings and hang out? Are you kidding me? No, my kids are in camp. I said, oh my gosh, do you get to pick them up? She said, oh, always. They're going to schedule meetings right at the time for camp pickup. I'm always on calls at that time. I don't ever get to pick them. I said, that's such a bummer. Isn't it hard? I said, but it's difficult because you make amazing money. So in that brief examples, what I'm trying to show you is I'm not putting down her job. I'm praising her job. It's an awesome job. Anyone would love to have her job. But here's why what she doesn't know. She doesn't know that there's another alternative. And so what I ultimately get to is go, I relate to you in so many ways because I have this friend who is so similar in your position. So I'm just doing it from someone here who hasn't been in corporate America. What I might say if I were you is then I'd say, oh my gosh, I've got this great friend and she had a job just like yours. She used to say the same thing. She loved it. It was an amazing job. But I'll tell you what, she used to tell me these stories of how it's hard. It's not easy because childcare is a difficult thing. And she was missing so much stuff and having to make these decisions. And here's what the crazy thing is she started this virtual franchise almost by accident. And I'm in the same organization as her. And it's amazing. It's amazing what it's done for moms that are in jobs like yours. Drop the mic. That's it. Stop talking. So just leave it there. That's what Janny did. She just dropped the mic. Here's what she said. So I'm going to tell you sound bites. Get your sound bites that work for you. When you hear someone, relate to them with something that you've heard someone else say. What she said to me was, Jessica, this is a mission business and it's kingdom building. And there are people probably like me that I was yearning for something so much bigger. I was starting to feel like I was just a number. Like I thought they could probably put a monkey in my job and I could teach a monkey to do this job. And there's nothing remarkable about what I'm doing. No one's life is better because Goldman Sachs said social media technology. No one's life is better because I showed up to a meeting in New York because I missed my daughter's recital because I was there to present it. No one's life is better. So people feel this emptiness. And I was looking for something bigger. And she talked to me about service and impact. So you can try to say one message. Like sometimes we take our goals and we try to put them on other people. And you find that it doesn't fit. So sometimes people will say, do you want to make a lot of money? You want to be a millionaire? Okay. You come into Isagenix, you can be a millionaire. But you might be talking to someone who literally has a money blueprint that doesn't even care about becoming a millionaire. But if you said to them, I know you have a passion for people, in particular children. If we could find you a vehicle that you could plug into, that you could create something that would deliver massive impact to give back to kids, are you open to that? That same message of, do you want to be a millionaire, would turn off that person. The second message, when you connect with their heart, that is what unlocks that person's attention. I do a lot of welcome calls. So some people on the team will say, I just enrolled someone. She reminds me of your situation. I just enrolled someone. She did really well in another network marketing company, got jaded. I just enrolled someone. I think she has a really magnetic personality. So I often will call them and I'll say, hey, I wanted to call you. Usually on Fridays, I try to carve out some time because I wanted to welcome you to our team. I started this team with a few friends a couple of years ago. And I wanted you to know I'm so grateful you're part of our community. And I want to see how it's going for you. Those calls have opened up. I know Lauren has an amazing system for already doing this, but those calls, separate from a welcome, those calls, you're separate from the calls that you guys already do, but it might just be a secondary call from someone who can relate to their story. They have unlocked so many people. And we had a girl on my team that just went executive. She was a committed product user, had been in Mary Kay, had done very well. It caused a lot of stress in her marriage. She got out and was determined to never do network marketing again. And a girlfriend of mine enrolled her and she said, you should call her and just have a chat with her. And I called her and I just listened. I said, you're doing awesome. I said, Julia, you're selling me on Isagenix. I want to do it. I mean, literally listening to you rave about these products, you've convinced me. If I wasn't enrolled already, I would enroll with you. You're amazing. You have a gift for this. You're amazing. And so sometimes those calls really help connect with people. So my story again is that, Janny called me and then she only gave us a little bit. I feel like sometimes we enroll people and we're like, hold the phone. Let me drop everything right here. Here's PIBs, here's rank advancement bonuses. You're going to want to get to executive. You got to get to celebration. If you don't get celebration right now, I'm going to have you at ICU, every UIA, all their vernacular. Do you know Kathy Coover? Do you know Eric Coover? You got to know all these things. And that was scary, right? If you do that to someone, that's scary. It's overwhelming because a lot of our people are also have these other lives, other jobs, other situations. She only gave us enough to digest at that time. So I said to her that night, I said, what should I do? And she said, here's the next rank. Go to manager. We want to have 2 people. Enroll as many people as you can, and let's help people share. And here's how we do it. Okay. I didn't even know anything about other ranks. Go to director. You need 6 consultants. Lauren's going to do it tomorrow. You going to do it? If Lauren's doing it tomorrow, then we might as well do it together. Okay. And that's just what she would do. And she would just tell us just a little bit at a time. Just go. This is what the next step is. And I love, and Lauren, I'm sure, has talked about this a lot, but I love that she grouped us together. Lauren talked about being Isagenix cousins. She grouped us together so that we had someone to lift us up when it got hard and to cheer for us when it was awesome. When people come on with me now, I go, listen, I'm just going to tell you right.
You guys, that's just Jess, I think, that got frozen. She'll probably hang up and call back in. Miranda, can you hear me okay? Ashley, Can you hear me okay? Okay. Yeah, it's probably just her. I'll just text her. It looks like her screen is totally frozen. That's not a flattering image for her to get stuck on. She'll probably just get disconnected and call back in. All right, guys, I'll chat with you for just a second while we're waiting for her to call back in, just so that you're not sitting here in silence. But with some of that stuff that Jess was saying about, asking the right questions and like painting the vision, that it's not about us, it's really just about what this does for people. I met a waitress the other night and she was just cute. She was fun. What Danny would probably say is the it factor. And I just asked her, I said, how long have you been here? Is this what you always wanted to do? And she's like, I'm so burnt out. And she was like, I actually have this whole idea of starting my own business, but I just don't have the time to do it. And she wants to have this small kind of event planning, catering business, nothing massive, like no weddings, no big events, but like basically if there was like a kind of wealthy couple that said, hey, my husband's 40th is coming up, like she wants to be hands off, right? Like let someone else come up with the theme, the idea, the food, and blah, blah, blah. And that was her niche. And, I could have done exactly what Jess said. Oh, you can be a millionaire. Oh, you can do all these things. And she probably would have ran away. But I just said, so if there was a way that you could earn what you're earning waiting tables in order to fund your hospitality business, is that something you would want to know more about? She was like, absolutely. She signed up today in less than a half an hour in our first meeting because she sees what this is going to do, right? And then I gave her the blueprint of like what she can make in her first week, her first month, her first 6 months. And one of the questions Janie always asks me, that I ask people when there's any reservation or any hesitancy, and they say, well, how long will it take me to make that? Or when can I replace my job? I say something to them like, don't worry about how quick, worry about if you don't do this, what does your life look like in 5 or 10 years? Like, even if it takes the slowest track ever, if you didn't do this, how will things be different in the next few years? And people get it right away, that residual income, passive income, referrals, that is one of the only ways that people can, hey, Jess, be able to leverage their time, and be able to get that. So I just kind of, sorry, Jess, I just filled in so we weren't sitting here in silence, but I was talking a little bit about connecting and how elaborating on how it's not about us, but asking the right questions for people to see how this is the vehicle for them, and how this really is something that
sit up, baby, so
you can sit up. I'm just going to mute everybody again. So Jess, when you're ready, like dive back in. But I was just a teeny bit on that, just like how important it is. So you're doing great. So unmute yourself, Jess, because you're muted, because I muted everyone. But you were just starting to say about us being accountability partners, and you said if I
Yeah.
someone today, and then we lost you.
What did I say last?
You just said if I enroll someone today, and I think you were going to say something about how you pair them up with somebody or.
Okay, great. I just dropped some serious genius for like the last couple of minutes. Then I'm gonna recapture all of that because I was like, "Whoa, where did that nugget come from?" I hope it recorded on my end. But in any event, I'm just kidding you. I don't think it was anything that great. But here's the thing. So when I enroll people today, I tell them I do two things. One is I want to find someone like them that they can work with. If I can find them someone that had the compatibility of you and I, Lauren, that's awesome. But I also tell them it's going to be hard. I also prepare them for what's to come because a lot of people look at the glory of this lifestyle and they go, oh my gosh, this is going to be magical. This is going to be fast and going to be just green lights all the way through. And I tell them, I'm going to tell you right now, there were times when I wanted to quit. Your mom's probably going to return. Your best friend's going to derail you and she's going to say mean things, like someone that you care about is going to say mean things about you. Trust me. I wanted to do the same thing, but I'm so glad because what lives on the other side of those rocky moments is beautiful. And one of the things Janie would say is you get work the hardest when you're on the verge of something amazing. She just sent me a text like that the other day and she's right. Just when you're on this breakthrough, it's going to be the hardest. And so I try to tell people that up front because a lot of people get thrown out of the game because they're not expecting that. Because they look at Facebook or they see me in the grocery store and I'm not working anymore and they go, wow, I want that. They don't know what it takes. So I just like to tell them what it takes. So what I was also saying after that is that, people want to know how. We enrolled a lot of people early on, right? So I tell them, they want to know how did I do it? Because at the time, Lauren and I both had full-time jobs that were extraordinarily busy. I've got 3 little kids. My oldest daughter was 8 years old. I have boy-girl twins. At the time, they were 6 years old. And my life was nutty. We had started buying investment properties a number of years ago, and we run them ourselves. So I had 3 things going on that made this sort of an unreasonable proposition. And do you guys enroll people and they say, well, I'm too busy to do this right now. I could never do that. I'm way too busy. I don't have the time for that. I always relate to the people. You're right. It's crazy. Do you see a time when that's going to not be? Do you see a time when you are going to have a lot of free time? No. And honestly, then I tell people, you know what? The best people, the most successful people in this business are busy. It's just like in anything. If I want something done extraordinarily well, I give it to a busy person. The reason some people have tons of time is they're not going to deliver extraordinary output. You, my friend, have a wonderful gift. Clearly, you could manage this. That's the kind of person you are. I try to speak into people what I believe, what I've already seen in them. And so people ask me, how did we do it? Because there's only so many hours in a day. And so here's what I did exactly. The night Janie called me, that she asked me those questions, that she said it's a mission business and it's a service business and it's kingdom building. And she had my attention. She also told me the story of how she met Kelly Dickerhoof on a flight. So she showed me all social proof. So social proof doesn't just say, here's this woman who is, an MBA wife that can, of course she's going to do it because everyone's thinking when she's talking, she's going to say, well, you enroll anyone in the MBA and they're buying all business builder and president's packs and they don't care. And of course you can be successful. But she showed me social proof. Showed me about Kelly Dickerhoof sitting next to a 29-year-old woman on a plane who'd been a hairdresser and a spin instructor. I can literally tell you the words that she used. This little gal from Spokane, I sat next to her on a plane. She was 29 years old, little hairdresser and spin instructor. Her husband was a dairy cow nutritionist. And she just looked tired, but we really connected. And I thought, this woman is a woman of authenticity. She told me I spent the whole flight just connecting with her, talking to her about faith and family and our lives. And she said, I just liked her. And I thought, this could really help her. So many things about that story, guys, show her authenticity. She was connecting with someone because that's who Janie is. And I could hear that in her voice. And it was so offhanded. She wasn't trying to get Kelly Dickerhoof on Isagenix. She didn't spend the whole flight planning how to prostitute her. And I heard that come through in her story. And so she had my attention. So I said, what would you do? And she said, I'd put up a Facebook post. And my first Facebook post said something like, I am in shock of how well this program works. I'm one happy customer. Thank you. And I tagged the person who had gotten me started. Thank you, Carice, for getting me started. And a lot of people commented, and then she coached me on how to properly leverage Facebook. And my second company was social media technology. So I knew a little bit about how the Facebook algorithms worked, but she coached me, and a lot of people wrote. And then she gave me the greatest advice, which if you're in this group, you already know this, but I wanted to just message back and forth with people. And she said, no, get them on the phone. And so I tell my team that a Facebook post is a billboard on a highway. If you've driven down a highway and you've remarked to yourself, wow, Bob's Big Boy, that looks like a good restaurant, I should go there. Maybe you've never gone. You may or may not go. And that's a Facebook post. People are watching you, but they may or may not reach out to you. And I knew that. And so here's what I did. I spent the nights. I knew if I was going to do it, I was going to have to find some time somewhere. So I looked at my day and I said, you know what? I stay up after my husband and my kids go to bed and I watch news television. I like to watch Fox News or CBS, CNN, or MSNBC. I like news. So I was watching these news shows, reading a book, watching news shows. And I said, you know what? While I'm doing that, I could be sending out messages. And this is what my message said. My message said, Lauren, I don't know if you saw my Facebook post, but I need to reach out to you. This program's blowing my mind and I think you'd love it. Send. Some other messages might have been, Lauren, listen, you and I are in the same running group. I know we've talked a lot about how exhausted we are by 3:00. I'm not exhausted anymore, Lauren. This program is bananas. I'm serious about chatting with everyone I know because the whole world deserves to find out about it. I can't believe people don't know about it. Send. Copy and paste. Send. Personalized to some degree. Send. And when I tell you I sent a lot of messages, thank you, Lauren. I've sent a lot of messages. I would make a list and I would just tick them off. And I would think to myself, I'd be so excited because I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is going to blow their mind. I love it. And guess what? I know this is a numbers game. So I don't want to burst your bubble because it is impact and service. But at the end of the day, results are numbers. They're just the results are, I probably sent 20 messages every night on weekdays. So let's say 4 days a week, I sent 20 messages. So 80 people every week for a month. Okay. So let's say 300 and some people. The math works out because Lauren, what do we enroll? We each enroll, you enrolled 40 and I enrolled 36, I think in December, right? So the math works out, guys. 10% of people I reached out to enrolled. That's pretty good. And that's pretty good numbers. So if you want to enroll 5, you got to reach out to 50. So that's not hard to do in a month. Lauren said this group's committed to double PIVs. So that means you want to enroll at least 8 people every month. Okay, you need to reach out to 80 people. That's only 20 people every week. So if you do like me on 4 weekdays, you're only reaching out to 5 people every single day. You'll enroll, if the math works out true, if you're following the systems laid out, you should be enrolling 8 people every month. If you want to enroll more, guess what? You've got the lever to increase that number. And the lever is called increase your reach outs. Tell your story more. And that's awesome. So I sent all those messages and a lot of people didn't respond. And people ask me that. Like I have another girl running for executive right now that I feel like there should be an award for most follow-ups ever before someone curses you. And she thanks me now. But she sent me screenshots of the number of times that I wrote to her. She responded, I think there were 24. She responded 3 times. I kept reaching out. Because unless someone says like an expletive, like, beep, you don't ever write me again. Honestly, I will keep reaching out to you because I believe it blesses you. And I believe that people's situation changes approximately every 35 days. I've read that. Their situation changes. Now might not be the right time for you. So Joey, I just saw your question and I love this. So I will use humor to continue following up with people. So I'll say, listen, Lauren, at the risk of being a huge pest, I want you to know about this because I care about you and I want to make sure we connected. I know you're such a legend in our town. I bet you get 100 messages a day. Mine probably got lost. I have a joke. I say, listen, I'm having a problem with my Facebook Messenger. I sent you a message the other day. I don't know if you got it. I want to make sure we connect. So that's one way to do it. But you might also say, hey, the timing of my message, I sent my message at a silly time. You probably were in the middle of work that time. I wanted to make sure I wanted to send you a message now when maybe you're free. I'd love to connect. But I use that at the risk of being at the risk of being really annoying. I wanted to follow up with you again. I use that a lot because honestly, it was just self-deprecating enough. I was acknowledging. I wasn't chastising them for not getting back to me. I was acknowledging that I was writing them again, and I was doing it in a way that was deprecating enough. How can you get mad at someone like that? I'm at the risk of being a pain. I care about you enough. I really want to chat with you about this. You know I'm excited. You know I'm an excited person. When I get excited, I have to chat with you. There was a guy who once prospected me when I worked at Citibank, and he left me a voicemail. I'll never forget this guy. And he said, Jessica, there's two things you can count on. Tomorrow the sun is going to rise, and I'm going to keep calling you back until you respond. And I was like, this guy is a complete knucklehead, but wow. I'll never forget his message. So if you think about that guy, right? We actually ended up doing business with his company. Can you imagine that? I'll never forget him. And we ended up doing business with him. But that was his message. I thought this guy is completely hilarious. I'm going to call him back. He stood out.
I want to come in for one quick second. Do you guys know who Jay Bennett is? Do you guys heard of Jay Bennett? I mean, he's above Cindy Jan. I mean, he's on our way up line. He's been with Isagenix for 10 years. He actually tried to recruit Kathy Coover for a company he was in, and she did the reverse script and brought him over to Isagenix, like when they were just getting started. I mean, it's really a crazy story, but there's a couple in Isagenix that he enrolled that are Isagenix millionaires now. And he was reaching out, like Jess is saying. And the day they enrolled, the message he sent to them was happy anniversary. And they wrote back and they go, happy anniversary. He's like, it's 6 years for me reaching out. Are you ready to join my business yet?
Absolutely.
You know, like, I think it's great. I mean, he never stopped. He was relentless. And they're Isagenix millionaires in his business. Like,
Absolutely. I tell people, listen, you could have 50 people in your downline by now. Are you ready to get started? Or I say to them, hey, I know the timing may not have been right when I sent you the message before. I think timing may change. But here's the other thing is, if you love people, if you truly love people and care about them, read their Facebook messages and relate to them. Because here's one thing, is there's a girl in my business who's done well, and here's how I enrolled her. She had posted a status that said, it's very difficult to be a working mom when sports start at 5 o'clock and that's when I'm finished work. And I read that status and I said, Janelle, I read your status. I haven't talked to you since we were probably 8 years old. This is going to be crazy, but I may have something for you. And so the following up, so when Mary Cook is who I was talking about earlier, 24 times, she responded 3. She thanks me now and she says, thank you for never giving up. Thank you for continuing to reach out. Because honestly, I was thinking about you. And what are people often doing? They're often Googling, they're often researching, they're looking at YouTube videos. And often, guys, guess what the Google search is? I know because I did it. Bad reviews, Isagenix, right? They're looking to disprove it because it looks so good. And so you're catching them potentially in their time of researching for bad reviews. But eventually you stick with it and you show consistency. I better to look again at the reviews, right? So again, one of the things that I often say to people is the timing better? Is this the timing for you? This may or may not be your time, but if it is, we should chat. I'd love to talk to you about this. I think you would absolutely light up. And that is just a good way to do it. And when you ask those questions, even after people are enrolled, even after they believe, you ask the right questions, you will find that it could be people's time. And so that's what I'll say to you is that's what I was doing. Is I was doing massive follow-up.
Hey, Jess, I
right?
want to just highlight on a couple of great things you said, and then I'm going to ask you a question if that's okay.
Of course.
You guys, there's so much gold in this. I mean, if you think that you're only going to listen to this once, you're nuts. But I mean, I get fired up. I want to knock it on our next team call because it makes me want to go send 20 Facebook messages. But when Jessica's telling you about how we see the glory and we don't see the story, I mean, that is such a key thing. And we talked so closely. Like there was a point where Janny talked to both of us and she would be like, Jessica's doing this. And she would go to Jessica and say, Lauren's doing this. And then we somehow hopped over Janny and just started communicating ourselves. But there was a way that we were going to push each other to bring out the best. And we also were there when things got tough. Like I remember when people were returning, Jessica had enrolled so many people. Again, it's a numbers game. Inevitably, people are going to return. She's like, oh my gosh, like, why is so-and-so have diarrhea? Or why is so-and-so threw up, And she was like, I just can't do this. And I was like, wait, stop. Like your downline has 2,500 people in it in 3 months. Like, why are we focusing on the 3 people? You know what I mean? Like why you got to focus on all these other amazing people. And she was like, okay, you're right. And there were some times like getting double PIBs was never not an option. It was never not an option. I'd be like, Jess, like I've only enrolled one person. Like nobody's calling me back. No one's messaging me back. She's like, well, what are we going to do? You got to get in a Facebook group. You got to go to Whole Foods, go back to the gym. Like you got to talk to somebody and it was like, she would push me. There was never going to be this sugarcoat or enabling of like, oh yeah, next week will be better. I mean, we worked until the back office closed every Sunday for 9 months. I mean, we worked around the clock, texting each other, Facebook messaging each other, doing back-to-back 3-way calls because we had this vision and not for ourselves, but for other people. And we told people we were going to build these teams. So be honest with people about the work that goes into it and about the stories and that it's going to be hard and you're going to get no's. You have to work yourself and it's going to be frustrating and you're going to miss certain events or kids things, but what it does. But Janny told Jessica, when they first started working together, you're going to spend the summer at the shore. You're going to spend the summer at the beach house that, Jessica got 1 or 2 nights a week at and had to, go too late because of her job, leave early. And she spent the summer at the shore. If you ask her if she would do all that all over again, heck yeah, she would. This is the second summer, like they're at the shore because of what Isagenix did, The other thing that Jess was talking about, with the follow-ups and the connections, there are some people that will have a strong posture. I mean, Jessica is confident. She loved the products. Her posture was there, but she gets just as many no's as other people. People don't think that. She's just having more conversations, whether it's through Facebook, through text, through out in the world, through conversations, asking for referrals. And the only people that are exploding with this compared to those, it's the number of conversations. So that's the question I have. Jessica probably can enroll in the cold market faster than anybody I know. Like I've gotten text messages from her. I just enrolled someone getting a spray tan. Like if you can enroll someone when you're totally naked, like that's a skill set, right? Me and her getting her nails done. There was times when they were like looking at cars and some of the stuff that she did. So I would love for you to spend the last few minutes just like where you're connecting everywhere, Costco, at the school, and just how much fun you have that you see opportunity everywhere.
It's fun to get to know people, right? It's so fun to just learn about people. So that's what I would encourage you to do is just, I see people at the gym. I like your sneakers. Those are amazing. What are you about your socks? Tell me the truth. Is that a good water bottle? Is this class really good? Why are there so many people in this class? Why is no one in this class? You could talk to people about, you could talk to someone about anything. Just connect with them. If you can't think of something to say to someone, tell them you like their shoes. Isn't it nice to get a compliment? Because if the worst thing that happens is that you made someone feel great about themselves, that's a win. Because your one little compliment could lead that person to do something kind to someone else, and you could create a ripple effect that you can't see. So that's the first thing I'll tell you is you can talk to someone about anything. Ask a question about anything. Where's the bathroom? Do you know where I can buy a drink in this town? Anything like that. And I do talk to people and I ask them questions about their life. And inevitably, when you ask people what they do for a living, what do they typically ask you, right? They ask you what you do. I'm always very intentionally vague. I have a virtual franchise. I have a virtual franchise in a network marketing company. I'm an executive recruiter in a network marketing company. I started a little business by accident. It became a global distribution that's extremely large. Now I run it from my beach house. Those are some things that I say, right? But I say things that just entice curiosity. I meet a lot of people on Facebook, and people want to know how to do that. So one of the things is Facebook suggests friends for you, right? Do they suggest friends? Try to steer clear. Ignore the ones that are Isagenix people because it'll serve you up more of the same. Ignore those people. And then it'll start serving you up more. It'll start recognizing, getting more intelligent. You want to be friends with realtors. Like I've friended a lot of realtors All of a sudden I get that you want to be friends with Steve at Keller Williams because I have a lot of mutual friends with him. I don't know one of them, but I'm friends with a lot of them. And so what I do usually is once a week, I go to the Facebook filter, and you can filter your friends by recently added. And so I look at each person's profile, and I friended them for a reason. I already have looked at your profile, right? I friended you because you look interesting, fun. You're great on social media. You also have twins. You're a realtor. One of those reasons. And I'll go and I'll send them a note, and I'll say, Karen, thank you for accepting my friend request. I'm going to apologize to you because I actually thought that I knew you. And I may say this, and there's for some people. I wrote to a girl and I said, listen, I thought I knew you. I actually thought we met at Johnny's barbecue. Johnny's a mutual friend. I went to Johnny's barbecue. I thought I met you at Johnny's barbecue. I just looked more at your profile because I liked something you posted. I don't think that was you. But I'm so glad we're connected because you like Irish Wolfhounds, and so do I. That's so awesome. Your posts are hilarious. I'm so glad we're connected. Or I might write you and go, Shauna, listen, thank you for connecting with me. I love your posts, and you're hilarious. I'm not even positive we've ever met, but you're so much fun. Loved your shoes in your last post, Shauna. Amazing. Honestly, sometimes I just write that. I write, Lauren, what a fabulous post. What an awesome dress. And honestly, the person must be left wondering, where does she know me from? And all of a sudden, we become friends. I enrolled a girl who jumped on a plane to Isagenix University of Chicago, and I literally had never met her. We met like it was a blind date. I actually went and met her at a playground. My foster son's 3. She has a daughter who's 3. I said, you're awesome. We had just become friends on Facebook, messaging back and forth about stroller types, about whatever. I said, you're fun. We should meet. Let's go meet at a park, like a blind date. So we go, and guess what? It wasn't about Isagenix. It was like, let me meet a friend who has a child that's the same age as my foster son. Awesome. Inevitably, guys, what happens? She tells me she's exhausted. She can't sleep. She's put on extra pounds, and she hates how she'll never pay off her student loans. I don't know. Melissa, here's the deal. I may or may not have something for you. I'm not sure. May or may not be for you. We don't have to talk about now. We're on a play date. We don't have to talk about now. We can talk later. I may or may not have something. So this girl enrolls. She jumps on a plane to Isagenix University of Chicago, and I don't know, last week she made a couple $1,000. But I met her online. Like, it was like a setup. It was like, it wasn't Match.com or Meetup. It was a Facebook love connection. Like, I love this girl. She's fun. She's fabulous. But you also attract people who are like you. The people that I think are funny are like me. There's people who like post pictures that I don't understand them. Like, they're comics. I don't even get it. I'm not smart enough to understand your humor, or like, I'm not really a cat person. They post a lot about cats. I like dogs. I'm probably not going to friend them. I'm going to friend the people who like dogs, because I know when you have something in common with someone, it's electric, right? You have this vibe with someone that you're like, you love dogs too? You love Lululemon? Oh my gosh. Lauren and I have so much in common. We have a great vibe because we love a lot of the same things. She would have been a great person for me to cold friend. That's what I call it, cold friend. But go through. You can't just cold friend people and then think that you're gonna appear in their network and they're gonna magically fall in love with Isagenix because you make it look so fabulous. Reach out to them. But don't. This is what people do to me all the time. They friend request. Maybe they look at my profile. They probably don't. But they send me a friend request. They go, Jessica, I have a great opportunity in network marketing, and how would you like to be earning 6 figures in the next 3 months? And I'm like, wow, who are you with? And they'll tell me, and I'll be like, wow, I love that. I'm going to screenshot your prospecting approach and share it in my builders group of what people shouldn't do. But listen, I'm so glad. No, I don't really say that. I actually really encourage people, and I go, that is amazing. I love that you were bold enough to reach out to me. And so I usually will just do that, but that's what not to do. They friended me and then immediately sent me a message to do with their business. Terrible. One guy told me he was the owner of Rodan and Fields. I said, what do you do? Who do you work for? He said, I actually own Rodan and Fields. That's amazing, dude. Because I actually know people who own Rodan and Fields, and they're not you, but cool, rock on. So what I'm just going to tell you guys is just love people and connect with them. You can meet them anywhere. And I do friend a lot of people on Facebook. So if I meet them, I usually tell people, I love this. Okay, so here's an example. We go to a swimming pool at the beach. And there's always new people that come to the swimming pool. And I start talking to this woman, and our kids are in the pool, and we just start talking. Where are you from? What kind of questions do you talk about at the pool? Where are you from? Where are you going to go to? We live in a beach town. It's a resort town. Where are you going to go to dinner tonight? I have some great restaurant recommendations if you want them. Okay. And I said, I loved our conversation so much. We started talking about being a working mom. She had a great corporate job. I said, listen, I loved our conversation so much. I want to know where you went to dinner tonight. Let's connect on Facebook. And if you have questions, let me know. And she wrote me, I was like, I'm so glad we met. Like, you're a great friend. Next time I come down and we're going to stay at the same place, we should meet up. I made a friend. If she ever enrolls in Isagenix, awesome. But I'm not going to write her and go, do you know I'm in Isagenix? Do you know what that is? Do you know a 30-day cleanse? You want to do it? Do you like adaptogens? Are you sluggish? Do you need to lose 10 pounds? Awesome. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to be her friend. And I'm going to be consistent on Facebook with my posting. And hopefully that draws her in. Hopefully she has interest. And if she posts, I'm going to watch her posts, because she might post something and say, man, I can't wake up. Does anybody have more? Can I get a coffee IV? Or she's going to post one of those cartoons about, wanting to get a coffee drip. I'm going to write and go, I saw your post. Girl, I have something for you. We should chat. And that's all I'm going to send. Watch people. Get interested in their life. So once a week, I do that with people that I've recently friended and just connect with them somehow. And then I try every day to just send people messages that just extend love. I bet if you know what I'm doing in Isagenix, you're going to get your messenger will ding and you'll know it's me. And I bet you think I'm going to prospect you. But guess what? All I'm going to do is tell you I liked your outfit. That's it. I loved your outfit. I loved your hair in that last post. Girl, you got to tell me where to get that baby outfit, because I have a friend I need to buy a gift for. I need to know where you got your daughter's outfit. It's beautiful. That's all I'm going to say. And guess what? We'll banter back and forth, and she may be waiting for me to drop Isagenix. Not going to happen. She's not going to bait me into it, because I'm just extending love to at least 2 people a day on Facebook. Just some message. I do a ton with voice memos, and people that have never gotten a voice memo on Facebook are like, that was the coolest birthday message I ever got. I haven't talked to you since 2nd grade. And you actually called me to say, you remember me in recess. And you remember I always was good at Foursquare and wished me happy birthday. And I heard your voice. That was so cool. Use the voice memo feature, guys. Because isn't it the truth why we get people on the phone is so they can hear the passion in your voice? Let people hear the passion in your voice, wishing them an awesome day. Shauna, you were just on my mind, and I wanted to say your posts are so fun and funny. Here's a message I left for a girl today. I said, Ellie, I want you to hear me say this, because I think it every time I read your posts. They're so magnetic, and they draw me in so much. Girl, you just make me laugh. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I read your post and I smile. I just wanted you to hear me say it, because I think it every time. And instead of writing it, I wanted you to hear it from me. And that's what I sent. Wouldn't you feel great if someone did that for you? Just love people. And honestly, people will magnetize to this business, because they will say, Karen, you took your happy pills. You're a happy person spreading love, and you want to give it away. I want to be part of that.
Jess, you're awesome.
Did I go over the time, Laura?
Well, no, just because they've got another team call, and I know you're super busy and everything, but you guys, I hope that you are going to listen to this over and over and over. There are so many wittiness, but I just wanted to say before I mute it, because then you guys can all say thanks to Jess, but just understand that she's talking about 2 different things. When she's sending the 20 messages a week, the 5 messages 4 days a week with intentions to reach out, right? Those messages are intentional, that she's like, hey, have you seen what I'm doing? Hey, we're in the same round group. I think I've got something for you. That is different than the messages that she's sending for her love, to just build relationships, to just connect. And those are not unanimous or synonymous, and I want you guys to really understand that. Because when you're building these relationships, that not every time you talk to people, it's about Isagenix. Not every time you show up, it's about Isagenix, right? To be like, oh my gosh, you've got awesome shoes. Oh my gosh, I loved your post. That was hilarious. So, whatever that is, those are people she can just connect with, that she can build those relationships, that she's not going to talk about Isagenix, because inevitably if we don't, they will. They're going to be like, all right, so by the way, tell me what the heck you're doing. I see your stuff on Facebook, which is much, much different than her reaching out. But the bottom line from all of it that I hope you guys are hearing is that Jessica is actively building her business. She is not sitting at home waiting for people to knock on her door or ping her and say, tell me what you're doing. And Facebook used to be that you could put up one post and 100 people would look at it. They're on to that fact that Facebook turned into a flea market. I mean, there is a small percentage of people, I think they say 4% of your friends list sees your posts. So if you think you can just post your motivational stuff, your transformation post, your whatever, you're wrong. People are not going to come to you, but you build those relationships, you compliment them, you reach out, you share with what you have. The same way people built network marketing businesses before there was social media. However, you still want to be consistent with your brand, because if Mary Lou starts talking to you and she wants to be nosy and figure you out, she goes to your wall, you want your brand to be consistent. So don't stop branding yourself about shakes and about transformations and about fitness and about love and about motivation, and about faith. Don't stop doing that, but don't rely and say, well, I posted 3 times today, no one's called me. Like, Jessica's brand is rock solid. Go look at her profile. I encourage you guys all, don't friend her. She just told you she's not going to accept your friend request, but go look at her public profile. Look how consistent her brand is. And then realize that that is there, but she's not relying on that. That every single day, either pouring love, pouring greatness, uplifting people, or intentionally sharing Isagenix, she's connecting with people. I literally know how hard she does this and how dedicated she is. And whether she, late at night when the kids go to bed, she will not go to bed if she has not sent her 5 or 10 messages. She gets up after, right after she works out, before the kids wake up, but she can make breakfast with her kids. She can go to the park with her kids, but her connections do not stop. And no matter where she is, she's got Isagenix on her heart. So thank you so much. I'm going to unmute so everybody can say they love you and we're grateful for you.
So much, Jessica.
Thanks,
Oh my
Jessica.
You are
Thank
amazing.
you guys. Thank you guys so much.
so much, Jessica. You're a blessing. Thank you.
Jessica,
Thank you,
you.
guys.
I love you. I'll get you the
Mwah.
recording. See you
Thank you,
guys.
sweetie.
Thank you. Go meet her. Thank
All right,
you so
good.
much.
See you guys in a few weeks. Take
Bye.
care. Bye, Laura.
Bye.